Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to watch today's video and spend some time with me. Guys, I want to have a talk today about getting burned out on fishing, and sort of like, I think a lot of people get to the point where they're just, man, it's just not worth it. I just want to give it up for a while. I'm just tired of it. I'm burned out on it. And I've been through this myself, and I sort of want to give you guys some tips and advice and sort of have a discussion surrounding this feeling of getting burned out or needing to take a break away from fishing, because it can be a pretty eye-opening positive thing in the big picture. So we're going to dig into that in today's video. Also guys, one quick reminder, here it is, we got Christmas coming up like in 4 days. If you guys are like me and you're behind on Christmas shopping, probably one of the easiest ways you can do it, guys, is just go to Tackle Warehouse, go to my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. They got a ton of deals right now for stuff for people. It doesn't matter if they fish or not. There's apparel on there. There's different stuff for your boat. Just a lot of good Christmas ideas. I'll put that link in the description. And also, if you guys are interested in a pair of my RB2 or RB3 series sunglasses, through the end of December, they got 50% off on them. So I'll put that link in the description there too. If you guys would like to get a Christmas present here at the last minute, really appreciate that. Okay, I think a lot of people would say, it's like, how in the world could I ever get burned out on fishing? I want to go fishing every single day of the year. And I can tell you right now, guys, that if you fish long enough, and if you fish, pretty regularly, there's going to be periods of your life where you just get burned out on it, and you need a break from it. And that's okay. And a lot of times that burnout or that desire to get a break, it comes from a lot of different things. One of the biggest things that you get burned out on fishing is if you're not catching them. If you have an extended period of time where you're just struggling to catch fish and you don't seem like it's worth it, and you're spending the money to go to the lake and it's like, I just can't catch them, it's like it's not worth it, it's not fun anymore. That's one reason out there that they do it. Another reason is you get busy with other stuff in your life. Fishing takes a lot of time, and it's like, I always said, it's like, a lot of people, it seems like to me there's, well, not a lot, but there's a decent number of people that like to golf and fish both. And it's like, you don't have time to do both. It's like, if you have a family and you want to spend any time with your family, fishing consumes a lot of time. So a lot of times you get burned out simply because you don't have time for it. It's like you got other stuff you got to get done, and just life gets in the way. And sometimes you just get, it just loses its glitter a little bit, especially if you're doing it a lot and you don't take time to absorb everything in and around fishing. So here's some advice from my point of view on there. One of the best things you can do on a semi-regular basis or whenever needed is just simply take a break from it. Just get away from it. It's like, get away from your boat, get away from your tackle. Don't go to the lake for a month or two. Just take a break from it, man. Just do something else. Piddle in the yard a little bit, play with the kids, go on a hike, whatever. Just get away from it. Because a lot of times that absence from fishing, it will make you appreciate it a lot more once you do get back in it. Now, one of the things about not getting burned out on fishing per se is that you have to appreciate everything that surrounds fishing. It's like, if you're fishing simply to go out to catch fish and get bit, you're really experiencing a minute fraction of what fishing really is. I mean, depending upon how you approach fishing, whether it's just from a fun, recreational, or competitive side out there, there's a lot of different benefits from fishing aside from catching them. It's like, one of the greatest things that I not so much anymore because, you get separated from your friends and move and everybody gets busy, but just going fishing to hang out with your buddies. I used to do that all the time before I got super busy, and the fishing was really secondary to that. It's like, yeah, it was fun to catch fish, but just getting out there and enjoying being with somebody and sort of putting the actual fishing part of it on the back burner. Another part of it is just absorbing the experience of being nature. If you go out and fish without any expectations of catching fish or any need to catch fish, and you absorb everything you see around you, just the wildlife and the smells of being outside and the sound of the water, that's a good way to recharge, especially if you like wading creeks or, floating rivers or something like that. That's a great way to get back into it, guys. If you're burned out on bass fishing, is go on a float trip. A float trip down a quiet river or quiet creek or wading a creek. That's a really good way to really get back to the root or the basic foundation of fishing without having, you know, to get in a boat and crank up a $800,000 boat and turn all your electronics on. It's not really fishing in that term. So try some different type of fishing. Also, one of the things that I've always done, guys, when I get burned out on bass fishing is I go crappie fishing, or I go cat fishing, or I go white bass fishing. This is a great way to get away from it. I remember one of the one of the best fishing trips I ever had ever. It's like there was an Amish family that helped build a house that I built about 20 years ago. And this Amish family, they liked to fish, but they didn't have anywhere to fish. So after they finished building the house, it was a father and his 3 sons. I took them down to Grand Lake because they wanted to go fishing. And we went down there and we fished for white bass and drum. And we caught a cooler full of white bass. And it was like, they were having a great time. I was having a great time. It's like just getting away from chasing largemouth bass and pursuing other types of fish is a really good way to get away from the burnout of bass fishing. But the main thing is, guys, if you are burned out and you're just not enthusiastic about it, it's okay, because everybody goes through that. You always will. Just step away from it a little bit. It'll always be there when you get ready to come back. I don't know how many friends of mine that have gotten super frustrated at fishing. Like, say for example, they went out on some trips and they blew their motor on their boat, or they broke a couple rods and they're not catching any fish, and they go, I'm done, I'm selling all my tackle. I've had 3 or 4 of my buddies do this over the years. So they'll take a break for maybe 2 or 3 months, and then after a couple, 2 or 3 months, you know, that love of fishing reignites and they get back out there and they enjoy it more than ever. So anyway, just a few random thoughts on that, guys. Hope you all are well. We'll talk later.